Alright, welcome to Module 5 of Digital Product Creation Mastery Training. And in this class, we're going to talk about repurposing your existing content. Alright, so it's not every time that you want to create a digital product that you necessarily have to go back to the drawing board. Alright, it is possible for you to make use of your existing content and create a brand new product. Alright, so that's what we're going to talk about in this class. And we're going to cover some of the ways that you can do this very effectively. Number one being being able to identify reusable content, because it's not all types of content that you can actually repurpose. You should be able to identify what content that is reusable, so you can actually make use of it and repurpose it, turn it into a brand new content entirely, and use it the best way you can. Alright, sorry, I got distracted a little bit there. So the second point is transforming content into different formats. That's another way of repurposing content. And then you can also create a content repurposing plan in order to help you to get the right flow of your content repurposing journey. And then you can as well maximize your reach and engagement. We're going to talk about these 4 aspects in this class, starting from identifying reusable content. Now, repurposing your content is a powerful strategy to extend the lifespan of your content, of your existing content, and use that same content to reach new audiences. Alright, now there are some steps that you need to take in order for you to identify what reusable contents are and how to repurpose them. The first is you need to be able to audit your content. Alright, content audit is about you reviewing your existing content, such as blog posts, videos, podcasts, and even your social media posts, and identify pieces that performed well, and then contain evergreen information and that are still relevant. Right, so like I said before, it is not all types of content that you can actually repurpose. You need to make sure that the content you're trying to repurpose is still relevant at the time you're trying to do that repurposing. Alright, and there should be content that has performed well, so that you can be sure that it has some level of acceptability among your audience, even though you're trying to reach new audience. Alright, and then second thing you need to do is you need to analyze performance. That's what I said. Like, make sure that the content you're picking up, it's one that has performed very well, and you can use analytical tools to identify high performing content. Look for content with high engagement, high shares, and conversion rates. Then you can know that if you repurpose this content, chances are that you can still be able to get some impressive results. And then evaluate the timeliness of the content you're trying to repurpose. You need to choose content that is evergreen or can be updated very easily. Avoid content that is too time sensitive or outdated. So that also goes to the relevance of what you're creating. So make sure that the content you're trying to repurpose is something that still has some relevance at the time you're trying to do that, and not content that is probably outdated or some kind of trendy content that is already past and no longer relevant at the present time. Alright, and then again, consider your audience. Alright, very important, consider your audience feedback. You need to be able to identify the content that received positive feedback from your audience or has high number of comments. Alright, so which indicates that the content resonated well with your audience. And by repurposing that content, you might as well get similar level of engagement or acceptability. So it's important that you pay attention to these key notes. Make sure that you audit your content, and in auditing the content, you analyze the performance, ensure that they are timely and still relevant at the present time when you're trying to repurpose that, and then take your audience feedback into consideration. It is very important that you take this when identifying what reusable content that you will be able to repurpose are. And then the next thing is you need to now identify what different formats that you want to repurpose the contents to. Alright, once you've identified what reusable content is that you want to repurpose, the next step is to transform it into different formats to reach a wider audience and cater to different preferences. Alright, so there are different repurposing patterns that you can follow to make sure that you're getting the right, you're reaching new audiences with the same content and all. So you can decide to repurpose a blog post and turn it into an ebook. You can also decide to change a video to a blog post. You can decide to make a podcast into an article or a set of articles. You can also decide to reformat infographics into social media posts. Slideshares can also be turned to videos. This is just some few examples of how you can repurpose your content. You can combine related blog posts into a comprehensive ebook, add new insights, visuals, and formatting to create a polished final product. That way, you don't have to start creating an ebook content from scratch. You can actually lift a blog post that's been doing very well previously and turn it into an ebook. That way, you can also reach new audiences, people who are interested in the subject matter but prefer to read ebooks to reading blog posts. So that way you reach new audiences with the same content. You can do the same thing with videos, turning videos into blog posts, turning podcasts into articles, infographics into social media posts, and even turning slideshares into videos. And it can be vice versa as well. You can also turn blog posts into videos. You can also turn articles into podcasts. You can also turn social media posts into infographics, and you can as well turn videos into slideshares. All right, it all depends on how you want to do that. So it's important that you do some sort of this content repurposing from time to time, as long as you have quality and engaging content or pieces of content out there. Alright, beyond that, let's talk about creating a content repurposing calendar. Alright, creating a content repurposing calendar is about having a well-structured content repurposing plan that ensures that you systematically transform and distribute your content very effectively. Right, it's important that you do this. And how do you do this? How do you create a content repurposing plan? First, you start by setting up clear objectives. Alright, define the goals of your content repurposing efforts. Are you aiming to increase brand awareness? Are you aiming to drive traffic? Or are you aiming to generate more leads? All right. And then secondly, you need to choose the formats of your repurposing. How do you want to repurpose the content? All right. Decide on the format you want to repurpose your content into based on your audience's preferences and platform requirements. All right. And then you can also create content calendar. Very important. Create content calendar. It's very important to create content calendar when you're thinking about distributing your repurposed content. So you plan your repurposing activities around about creating a content calendar. Okay, you're gonna have to plan your repurposing activity around a content calendar to make sure that you are getting you're being consistent and staying consistent with everything that you're doing, right? Then the next thing is assign responsibilities. If you have a team, assign specific tasks to team members and ensure that everyone understands their roles and deadlines. Very important. And then track performance for productivity's sake, all right? Monitor the performance of your repurposed content using analytics tools, measure engagement, reach, conversions to assess the effectiveness of your efforts, and make sure that you are achieving your set objectives. Very important that you do this. All right. So let's talk about maximizing your reach and engagement. So to get the most out of your repurposed content, you need to focus on maximizing reach and engagement. And how do you do this? First thing is you can leverage multiple platforms. You can optimize for SEO, engage with your audience, promote through email marketing, collaborate with influencers, and use paid ads. All right. So how do you about leveraging multiple platforms? You can share your repurposed content across various platforms, including your websites, social media, newsletters, email newsletters, guest posts, and everything. You can tailor the content to fit each of the platforms that you're sharing it on. All right. You can also try things like SEOs to ensure that your repurposed content is optimized for search engines. Use relevant keywords, meta descriptions, and internal linking to improve your visibility, all right? And also engage with your audiences, all right? Very important that you engage with your audiences while you're distributing your content. You need to encourage your audience to interact with your content by asking relevant questions, okay? Prompting comments and responding to feedbacks. Engaging your engagement rates will help you to boost the visibility of your content and also foster some sense of community around your content, and that will eventually generate more results for you, your business, or your digital product. Now, you can also distribute your repurposed content through email marketing. All right, include repurposed content in your email marketing campaign, highlight valuable insights, provide links to the full content, and a lot more other things. There are so many ways you can do this via email. Right? Collaborate with with influencers rather, partner with influencers and industry experts to share your repurposed content. The endorsement can significantly increase your reach and credibility. You can also use paid ads. When you're using such things like maybe you repurpose a blog post into an ebook and you're trying to use that to generate more leads, you can actually create a landing page and create an ad leading to the landing page, and then having people sign up to get your repurposed content as a digital product, and then you're using this to generate more leads, all right, for your business and for more effectiveness and stuff. All right, so by effectively identifying reusable content and transforming it into different formats, creating this structured repurposing plan, and then also maximizing reach and engagement, you are actually extending the life of your content, and then you're using the same piece of content without starting all over again to reach new audiences, right? And this approach is not only time saving, it doesn't only save you time and resources as well, but it also enhances your overall marketing content marketing strategy across board, and it makes your business a lot easier, a lot stressful, and it's about using leveraging what you already have to achieve new results. And that's what this is about, repurposing your content. And I hope you get all the points that we made in this class. We talked about identifying reusable content. You need to be able to identify what content can you reuse, all right? Because it's not all kind of content that you can reuse or repurpose. You need to look out for content that has performed well previously. You need to look out for content that are still relevant with your audience as of today, and then you need to also pay attention to your audience feedback, all right? And then you decide what format you're repurposing this into. Are you changing an ebook into a blog post? Are you turning a blog post into a video? Are you turning a podcast into an article? You just decide what it is that you want to repurpose it into based on the data that you have achieved from your previous analytical study. All right. And then creating this content repurposing plan for your distribution purpose, because it's one thing to actually repurpose your content. The more important thing is actually making sure that your new piece of format, or the new format of your content, is reaching new audiences. And that's a function of distribution. So you need to have a content calendar in order for you to have a consistent distribution plan. And then this is what you're going to use to maximize your reach and engagement. And I hope this helps. In the next class, we're going to talk about pricing your digital product when it is for sale. So if you're intending to sell your digital product, how do you price this to make sure you're getting the right value from your products? See you in the next class.